Yeah, I have this code that I actually received. It's called it says you will remain the same until the pain of remaining the same is greater than the pain of change. You will remain the same until the pain of remaining the same is greater than the pain of change. And I'm thinking, this actually summarized my life story. It summarized what actually has happened for me in order to fully embrace myself, to fully like choose consciously to say, you know what, it's hard, it's challenging, but I know this is the road that I have to take, which is called self-love. And this is the road that actually initiated me going through huge life changes my own life, like divorce, leaving Italy, coming back home, being here now and finding myself, being at home and living with my family, and also applying the self-love that I've actually found prior this journey of self-discovery, of this huge change in my mind. I mean, I have known of a thing called self-love for a longest time. I feel like that's what I'm called for. I'm called to be that vessel that actually that carries the energy, the frequency of unconditional love. And in order for me to do that, to really match that frequency of self-love, there were certain sacrifices, there were certain things and procedures that I had to follow, the guidelines that I have to follow in order to come to a position where my energy is vibrating with the same frequency of unconditional love, which also has been the cause of me having made the decision that I've made in the past. Like, for example, me deciding to leave my marriage and just going into the unknown, even though I didn't know what's next, what will come out, but just trusting my inner voice, trusting what I'm feeling, even if it was hard. I mean, it was very challenging for me to come to that position where I had to surrender to the unknown and like, you know what? I know this has been my childhood wishes, to be married, to have kids, to have family, to have that. I know that, but where I am right now, it's not what I'm feeling. It's not what my heart is calling to manifest, to experience it right now. My heart is calling for me to up and go into the unknown and just follow the heart. As much as I was led by the heart into marriage, I'm also led by the heart out of marriage. And this actually, phase or phrase that says you will remain the same until the pain of remaining the same is greater than the pain of change. That's what exactly happened to me, to many things, not just divorce. Because I remember there was a time also I used to have that huge belief that I had to be something, and I was putting myself on a pedestal, and I was putting a lot of pressure on myself that I must, by this age I must be this, I must have reached this kind of education, or this thing, I must be like this. And I was putting so much. I was not in a place of love. That was not love. Okay. I'm happy to be home. I'm hearing chickens, doing that thing. That wasn't love, For me, I'm actually realizing now what is true love and what is conditions. I am learning now at the age of 41 the difference between what is unconditional love and what is conditions, when you feel obliged, when you feel guilt tripped to do things, when you just feeling shamed just to be yourself, when you're feeling like you have to do things so that people can be happy, otherwise if you're not, you are in trouble. I had to learn to understand these frequencies and how they come to be in my world, how they come to be in my world. And I've come to learn and I've come to understand, now I'm in a position where I can actually express it. What is self-love? And I also know how to apply it. I know also how to follow the guidelines from my heart. I understand that self-love has nothing to do about the situation. It's not about, love, real love, unconditional love. Is not about holding space for everything to be at peace. It's about more of you going inside and honoring what you are truly feeling from within. And sometimes what we are feeling could create a lot of conflict, not just outside but from within us, because we also have ego, and ego tend to tell us things are done this way, whereas your heart is actually telling you you are to do this. So I had to learn how to weigh options, in a sense that how to really listen to my own voice and zone out from all other people's voice or whatever the society is saying, and really I'm giving that voice an opportunity to be heard by me first. And this is what I term self-applied love, because in my past, I never experienced that. All I knew in the past was all about, let's make sure that everybody is happy. As a result, I'm in a position where myself now, I'm also like looking deep into my relationships. Where was I self-sabotaging myself? Where was I giving and thinking that I was loving? But in the end, I was only just doing things to keep up the movement, to keep peace. Was I really honest with myself? I'm able now to really look back and really see, especially I think this whole thing of coming back home, it's for me symbolizes closing chapters of my childhood, where I grew up and where I've learned these techniques of how I actually view others and how I relate to situations, because this is the basic. This is where I came from. This is where the first things in life I've experienced, and this is what shaped my mindset, my previous mindset, which is still here. So being back at home for me has given me the platform of where I am able now to really face things at face value, but on a deeper level at the same time, because now I am given the opportunity, the privilege to really feel for the very first time how it's like to be in my shoes back home as an adult, at the same time now being able to rely back to my younger self, because my younger self has gone into the world living and leading life in different parts of the world, in different relationship, and doing the best thing that she knew in the best capacity that she had, without having self-awareness. And I'm realizing now that I've done the journey and I've got to the point where I love myself crazy, to the point that I put myself first. I herald for Tandy first, whereas in the past I used to put other first, put everything first. And I've come to understand that I've milked that from where I come from. As a child, that's what I used to do. I'll do things just to please other people, because I didn't feel safe with myself. I didn't feel safe to have the ability to regulate my own nervous system, to calm myself down, to be able to clear my mind, to be able to speak my mind at the same time and not back down to anything, as long as I believe to what I feel. I didn't have that capacity as a child, and hence I resulted in people pleasing and doing things out of wanting to be seen and be heard. But now that I've gone through the journey of self-discovery, I can actually hold space to myself. I can actually hold space for my own emotions. I can go in and really look into myself. What is it that needs my attention? Am I trying to escape some situation? Am I trying to pretend? I'm trying to manipulate the situation? Because these are all the tricks that I've learned and I've mastered at the age, and thinking that I was creating security for myself. Well, it did help, but it was not sustainable for a long time, because at some point here I was suffering mentally. Emotionally, I was in the bad shape. There was no emotional intelligence. I was constantly just struggling with myself and not knowing how to cope with things until grace, grace, the universe, whatever you call, has come up and shown me a way, a different way, a different way, but a way that has come up with a way that actually has helped me heal those wounds, has taken me back to my past to say, look, you are actually experiencing this difficulty not because the world is like that. It's because it's how you chose to view those circumstances at the early age, and how you have chosen to navigate them is the way that causes you feeling the way you are feeling today. How you are feeling today about anything, about yourself, about other people, situation, relationship, whatever you name it, has nothing to do about other people but yourself. Your state of mind that you use to perceive what you are currently going through determines how you're going to feel. I had to learn, and I'm telling you, it was not by my power or my might or my strength. It was grace. Grace actually helped me to show me and to guide me. Listen, child, you have everything is given to you, the authority, the power. It's just that you didn't know at the early age, you didn't have the capacity, you didn't have that way of seeing life, and it is okay. I had to learn to forgive myself. I had to go through this journey of forgiving myself for seeing things in the lenses that I used at the early age, and that has influenced me for a longest time and has caused all these conflicts and kind of inner discomfort, uneasiness within me. And I had to learn to really dig deep to get in there and see, oh wow, this is where I actually took the wrong turn, but it was all worth it, because in the end it has brought me here to the all awareness of what is as it is. And then I got to see that, oh, here I actually preferred my insecurity. I chose insecurities because I was feeling insecure. Here I chose shamefulness because I was feeling shameful of what was going on. I got the opportunity to see how I played my game as a child, and how it has actually impacted my everyday life circumstance not today, like to the previous years or something, until I got to see the light that has shown me that self-love is the way. Until you learn to hold space for yourself, because what really I have come to notice in my journey is that as a child, I didn't have that strength to ground my energy. I wasn't taught. There was no one exemplify that to say, you know what, Tandy, it's okay to feel difficulties. It's okay to feel lost and confused. You don't have to create a scene. You don't have to cover. You don't have to put on a mask to make it appear in a good way. You don't have to act. You don't have to be anything. I cried, and I really cried how I actually felt at the time in my younger age, and did things out of not knowing. But now that I have the light and I can see what was influencing me to actually be in a position where I had to make those choices, but also I understand that the laws and the principles that was active in me, the belief system that were influencing my mindset, were calling for that, for me to act in that way, because they were not so expansive or broader, or coming from a place of a broader perspective where things are seen for what they are. So that, I guess, that's what really brings peace in my life, because I've learned that as human beings, this is a journey that you are called to walk as individuals. And you will go through all these things because they are meant to happen. Many things we look at them like, why? But now I'm here. I'm like, yeah, it was meant to happen in order for me to be where I am, to appreciate the moment, to be grateful that I'm here and I'm alive and I'm living and I get to witness life. I don't care how it is. I really do not care how life is happening outside me. I have the awareness and knowing that I'm fine, I'm okay, and things are working together for the highest good. And I know, there's that sense of inner knowing. You don't even have to wonder and ask, like, is it gonna be okay? No, you do not have that. This is a place for me I call like home. Again, I'm back home and I feel like I am closing chapters and circles, and I'm actually coming back to home, that sense of being at home from within. And I happen to be at home where all of this has begun, where the source of all what has taken place in my life basically started from here. And it's an honor. You have no idea. So many things, so many truths has came forth that I've come to discover about myself. And I have no words but to be grateful. I can say that I'm grateful. So this thing, it takes to remind me this phrase that you will remain the same until the pain of remaining the same is greater than the pain of change. Because that's what happened. It was like that for me. I used to be afraid of change. I didn't want it. And I didn't want it because it was like it was scary to change. It was something like terrifying. I was terrified to change. But then when the pain was much stronger and greater than the pain of change, I had to let go. And also one thing that I've come to learn now is that there's everything happen in due time. So even if you find yourself where you're still afraid of change, don't force yourself. Love yourself, acknowledge it that I'm afraid of change, and it's okay. It's perfect in the limelight of the universe. Wherever you are, it's where you are meant to be. Literally, like what is happening in your life, it's what what is going on in your life, doesn't matter whether you're going up or down. That's where you are supposed, by designed by the laws and principles of the universe. That's where you are meant to be. Do you understand? Based on my own understanding, because that's what has proven to me, and I believe it because I've experienced that. That's basically, and that's what creates peace, in mind. That's what creates harmony. That's what brings balance in my world, knowing that things do not just happen. Nothing takes place by coincidence or by mistake. Everything happened for a purpose, and it is an honor for me to be here and witness life, to experience life. I go through a lot of things just like everyone else. We might not be same, but also we might not experience the same things, but we all do experience pain. We also experience sorrow. We experience joy, happiness, sense of connection in different time. Okay, in different time, because not all of us we can experience joy in depth, joy at the same time. That joy, that is very, not all of us are going to experience pain at the same time. That's one thing I also have to come into terms with and acknowledge and understand, that things happen in due time. Everything has its own time to take place, and I had to learn to have a sense of reverence, to respect life as it is, to respect what happens to me and around me, to also know that there's laws and principles that attract to cause things to be the way they are. And I guess that's one thing that has liberated me most, is to know that the way I feel, the way I tend to respond to things, I don't really have to have control over them, because there's laws that do things accordingly. Whether I like it or not, what must be, it will be, whether I like it or not. Just like many things, if I have to put myself in a position of being a person, I'm going to be thinking too much, I want things like this, I prefer that. And that's where suffering comes in most cases, in my own case. But the moment I realize that there's a higher power, there's God, there's whatever you name it, your higher power, there's universe that has orchestrated everything, and all I have to do is to open my beautiful heart and open my mind, my soul, and surrender to the higher ways of intentions of even bringing me into the sense of existence and being here, and surrender to that it's a gift to be here. I know because I experience being alive as a gift. I feel it, I know it, that it's an honor that I'm here and I get to experience life holistically, whether life is going up or down, dark or white, dark or light, bad or good, does makes no difference. All I know is that everything is meant to be as it's supposed to be when it's supposed to be. Anyway, love and light, I'm going to leave it here. I just wanted to share that. And it's good to be back home. It's good to be back home inside. It's good to be just here and existing and living life as it is unfolding within this present moment. I can only be grateful. I can only be grateful. Mwah.